Traveling to Nepal. Initiating match. Ready for battle. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
Waukee Northwest Wolves against Marshalltown. One first fight. They're sitting for Marshalltown's next show. Oh, this is the second game of the season. Waukee versus Marshalltown. Second scrim of the season. What's a good season? What is it? Here, Northwest Wolves are going to bring it to 45%. However, Marshalltown is capping.
Currently capping now 45% on the Northwest side. They're slowly starting to looks like they're ready to test the points together. They're going to fight together and work together. I feel like on the Northwest side. Red, of course, is putting up a good fight. Marshalltown has found themselves in a pretty unfavorable spot. I mean, let's not discredit them though. They do have 35% on the point, substantial gains, but with its market controls, Northwest does have 65% and And that complete push is just wiped out. I mean, it was a great attempt, but with 85% on the clock here, I mean, is there really much that Marshalltown can do to try and contest the point again? No play to make, honestly, but with 5 seconds, 5%. cinch out a win, and they gain control, and maybe, just maybe, they can cinch out the point of this match.
Healing fortified. I am.
Did get 19. They just need to win one fight, and then that game. Northwest is nice.
Big time. Big time. And I mean, they found themselves in an advantageous position, 99% to get a 1-0 on their side. For me, playing off each other.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Diva.
Huge push.
Capabilities max.
Oh wow! Massive 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's game.
That's game. 1%. That's all they need.
1-0 Northwest.
Cinch out the overtime. I mean, just a couple seconds, and they found themselves in the honestly, for Marshalltown, all of a sudden it was looking possible, but Northwest, I mean, they played it well and they got one round.
I would say it was a well-fought round by both teams. Northwest just comes out on top with that massive ultimate for Northwest stat.
Ready for battle.
Not all of us are scientists, but that's no reason to be careless.
Game budget? Okay, changes. Yeah, they're redlining.
Quiet. They're redlining.
Battle draws near. Ready yourselves. One.
Okay.
We're seeing a team competition from both teams.
Capture the
We
objective.
had Marshalltown and Arissa followed
Both teams advancing into the midpoint, seeing what round they can cover, and immediately as the round starts, the combat starts.
That's tank down.
Tank down, all we're seeing is blue killing red in the kill feed, starting off strong on Northwest. Really great. Now the control point is unlocked. They can finally begin to start making some ground on the game-winning points.
Northwest captures
That's big. That's big. Starting off strong. They're moving with momentum. Marshalltown just as quick as they lost it. They're trying their hardest to regain it. Pushing into mid. They're playing together. They only have 3 players on Marshalltown. 4 or 5. Trying to get control of the midpoint. Looks like they could use a little bit more targeting on just one single player, just pick them off one by one by one. That might be working a little bit more efficiently. Just a couple kills, I mean, at what point do they just say called off and they stick through?
Although they're getting this Reinhardt low, they're getting this Reinhardt low. They really need to actually keep him alive, otherwise
big time, I mean, and they kept it contested. They made sure that they wouldn't gain any more points, but again, Northwest has found themselves second round in an advantageous position, 60% on the scoreboard. And yet again, they're going to try and contest midpoint.
The old economy is heavily we're gonna have to play from behind and catch up in a major fight with this full spawn we're about to get from Tracer.
Being more experienced Overwatch player, what would you say that Northwest is doing exceptionally well? It's obviously seeming like they're playing very frequently. It seems like they're just a lot of cohesion.
I mean, as I was saying, everyone watching here, Northwest is communicating. They know how to play as a unit. They can use this Reinhardt, their GM Reinhardt, to push in. I mean, he's creating good space. Kind of provide them a little bit of
Absolutely. I mean, they're just prioritizing their good players, and they're just supporting their good players, and that's 2-0. Waukee Northwest cinches out the win. And that's GG's, but we're going to move on to a new match. It's definitely not over for Marshalltown.
That's game 1 goes to Northwest.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Diva.
Wow, you fell far. Nerf this.
Alright.
Initiating match.
I can
Welcome. Alright.
Second match, Northwest versus Marshalltown. We're currently assembling our heroes. We got 14 seconds left on the clock. This is a very big time in the game for people to start making decisions and wondering, hey, what can really help us win this game? Right, and all these choices, I mean, obviously you can change your hero mid-match, but the first initial pick, you want to start off on a good note. Now, both teams moving into the map, they're trying to cover as much room as they possibly can. We're probably going to see... Hey, we got the wrong mode. We got the wrong mode.
We have wrong mode? Yeah.
It's quick play.
Oh.
Here, mute.
Now entering King's Row. Initiating match.
Okay, sorry about that. We did have some technical difficulties with the lobby, but we're back into the second match. Again, as I previously stated, assembling our heroes, 10 seconds. Now, this is very important for the team composition, making sure that they're starting off on the right foot. 5 seconds left. And we'll...
Absolutely. We're seeing Marshalltown on the offense here. We're seeing Northwest on the defense. For Northwest team comp, we're looking at Narissa with running their Ana Juno that they love. They're playing a soldier and a Mei for the DPS, so we'll see how those walls and the aimbot's going to help them out here.
Look at this guy just rushing, jumping right into sight. I mean, they're getting ready to defend. We're on King's Row. This is hybrid. 20 seconds left on the clock before these two teams go battling 5-on-5.
We're looking at a Marshalltown aggressive Widowmaker pick here. I mean, I'm curious to see if she'll get any picks and demonstrate some dominance over Northwest early.
Big time.
Reaper to make ups for some of their close range damage, and a Diva to dive. Their healers of choice, though, are Kiriko and Baptiste.
And for the viewers that don't know, Widowmaker wields a very powerful sniper rifle, and honestly, I mean, she's a very mechanically based player. If you don't have the aim to back her up, she's really not going to provide much value to the team. So it's a very interesting pick, and oh wow, a headshot.
Massive pick on Northwest. That Widowmaker demonstrating. We're looking at they're backing Northwest up to this hotel here. I mean, Northwest is giving us point position here. They're doing some capture. Did not get first check on, however. Northwest comes right out. Instantly demonstrates their dominance over point again.
Big time.
They're all split up. They're getting staggered now. I mean, if Northwest can get a pick on that Widowmaker back left, I mean, that would be massive. Reaper's low. They're fighting without their team. I mean, they just need to wait. Why did you keep this corner against Northwest? Reaper's dead. That's a stagger now. You're down to DPS.
Down to DPS. I mean, big swing from Static Ape. I mean, it was really just a move that really helped Waukee Northwest control the middle of the map. We're seeing them contest the middle of the map. They're trying to battle it out, trying to gain as much ground as possible, because in this game mode, I mean, map control is king, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Northwest, I mean, they give up their ground. They lure them massive oversoul. Get some damage pulling. They also use their Juno ulti here. I mean, that's damage boost and they're picking them off one by one.
Big time. I mean, we're seeing a lot of dominance from Northwest, but I mean, come on, that's not even really...
Massive javelin.
Orisa going in deep, trying to deal as much damage as she can. She's getting supported by her healer, but she's fighting in middle point. She's seeing a lot of enemy characters around her. Marshalltown getting a little bit more aggressive, trying to make a play here. They're mixed up and blended and all together. I mean, it's an absolute brawl in the middle point.
That's a Diva Bomb. That's a Diva Bomb. Big wrong from Analysis. I mean, that's
Just blocks it, absolutely. I mean, it just refuted it, made it redundant. And now we're seeing total control over the first checkpoint, taking defended objective A to another level. I mean, come on now.
A minute 27 remaining. I mean, Marshalltown's got to find something to work big. They swapped to Zarya now. They're trying to counter this Orisa. They're getting coffee out. I mean, Bap window as well. That could be some big damage, but Northwest is around the corner. The Baptiste window is useless here.
I mean, it looks easy, but you know, playing in competitive matches. I mean, playing in competitive matches, it's really just different from a casual match.
Northwest doesn't see it, but that's just going low. They're fighting in the corner. Reaper low. Reaper's dead.
Kale, you can probably you know, attribute to this, but you know, when you're in the match, competitive match, 50 seconds left on the clock, your team has to work together, and when you're in a losing position, unfavorable position, the question that you ask yourself, what can we change to make it work better? It's a lot harder to answer than if you're just casually playing with the pressure and everything else, right?
I completely agree. I mean, you have to communicate. You have to play together. You're a team. Like, you're not in each individual player. I mean, it looks like Marshalltown's just going in. Like, Zarya will fight. She gets picked off by Northwest. I mean, they take 5v1s.
5v1s, I mean, they're just camping this corner, using the cover to their advantage, quick peeking, doing as much damage as possible, and then they just spring out from the shadows, kill on kill on kill. This is a brawl on control point 1.
That has no immortality field either, so I mean, they can
7, 6, 5 seconds, the clock is ticking.
That's round 1 over.
Round 1 over. Sitting in this game room right now, I can really just... I can really attest to the atmosphere that we find here in the game room. I mean, we're hearing all the players talk to us right now, and I mean, they're just brimming with confidence, and it's great to see. And you know, I don't want to speculate, but it's really hard to keep your, you know, your morale up in your team when you're in a losing position. But you know, on Marshalltown, they're skilled players, and I really just hope that they're keeping their confidence up and know that, you know, it is possible.
I completely agree. I mean, they could turn this into a tie game. I mean, it's not over. I mean, that's just first round. I mean, you can always turn this into a tie game. They just got to figure out something new.
Ready for battle.
We're seeing another tank switch up. They're running with a Roadhog defense. Hopefully their play is, I mean, around that first checkpoint that we're about to look at right here at this bridge, if Roadhog can hook him back here for his team, I mean, that could be a big play.
Big time.
We are seeing an Orisa though, so if Northwest's tank is good, he can fortify, nullify that hook, and then they just push in. This is a very risky gamble.
20 seconds, 15 seconds to get ready, and you know, when I used to play competitive games like R6, you know, last season, I mean, this time was really just, it felt a lot longer than it actually was, you know. I mean, you feel like in the preparation phase, you just feel the pressure, you know that a lot rests on this game, and of course, you know, it's just the middle of the season scrimmage, so the stakes aren't too high, but you know, when you're in a tournament match, I mean, it really just piles on to you.
I completely agree. I mean, this is going to determine seeding for Northwest. I mean, they've yet to lose a round all year. I mean, it's early in the season, sure, but I mean, these matches do matter.
And I mean, you know what, if I was commenting on an amateur team, like if they were just playing at home, you know, it'd be different, but this is a competitive field, this is a competitive environment with some of the best players in every school in Iowa playing against each other, right?
I completely agree. I mean, we see some big names. I mean, Marshalltown for sure, a big one in all their esports.
You know, I mean, it just underscores high school esports, right? I mean, you're not seeing low elo players in these matches. I mean, they're pretty high ranked.
I completely agree. I mean, we're looking at Northwest. They've got 3 diamond players and a grandmaster at tank with Static 8.
Big time. I mean, this is a great matchup. Now we're seeing them on objective 1, 4 blue players, that's 4 Northwest players on point, trying to keep it in. They cinch out the win.
Northwest, I mean, all they needed was 1 cap. I mean, that's 2-0 on the series.
That's GG's. That's GG's for this match. Now,
Traveling to Havana. Initiating match.
Oh shit,
Ready for battle.
Now going into the third map of the game. This is the second match of the season. It's a best out of 5 map, or best out of 5 match. Waukee versus Marshalltown. Now we got 25 seconds left on the clock. This is the time for both teams to strategize to make sure that they have their plan locked in and get their team compositions locked in. You know, you can change your operators mid-match, as I said, but it's very important that you start off on the right foot and make sure that you get some momentum going into the match. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, now 3. I think as soon as this game started, we're going to see some combat here. Big time. Let's see who dies first. This is Pain killing Good Cake. 126. That's a big kill. And now we're seeing a little bit more passive gameplay. You know, this isn't an all-out brawl like we saw last match. I'm sure that we're going to get into that as soon as they start contesting some of the middle parts of the map. But for now, it looks like we're just seeing some long-range combat. Now we did see a player swap here in Northwest. We switched out for Kale Sorgi. Wanted to make sure that each player gets an equal amount of play time. Now Northwest is tasked with stopping the payload, and you know, it is a large task, but we're seeing a lot of cohesion on their side. Healers supporting Static Ape in here. He's slowly retreating, getting his heals in, keeping Marshalltown at bay. Now we're seeing them regroup slightly, pushing that payload further into the map, deeper in the depths. Alright, now we're really seeing some face-to-face combat here. Before it was a little, you know, pot shot across the street, but now we're seeing a couple deaths on Marshalltown. Those are big kills from Static Ape. They killed the flank. That was Widowmaker. And now it's another time, another opportunity for them to regroup. And as I said before in previous matches and previous maps, when you're at this point in the game, when the other team has a substantial advantage on you in terms of, you know, match points, it's really important to ask yourself, to ask the IGL, you know, what do we do better? You know, we need feedback, we need to adapt, we need to change our strategy to fit the needs of this match, to possibly counter the weaknesses that we see on the other team. Now we're seeing an absolute brawl. I mean, and we saw a couple frags on the Northwest side, we saw a couple deaths, but for the most part, the team just gets wiped out on the push. And that was a very efficient way of repelling the attack, and again, another opportunity to regroup. I mean, this is another attempt. We're seeing the team rush into midpoint again, just relentless attacks. We're seeing a late game Winston play mid game. And let's see if they can really get some damage on deploying that AI. That's Bob, absolutely putting in the work. I mean, that was just 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 kills. Another push wiped out. I mean, that was just very efficient. That was clean. That was plain. I mean, you really just can't discredit the performance that we're seeing from Northwest. I mean, Marshalltown's putting up a good fight, but when you're playing at this level, I mean, this is very competitive. It's really hard to find the weakness in the team, especially when you're in the heat of battle. Now we're seeing, again, some more attempts at contesting the middle of the map. They're trying to work together. I can see it. Okay, and not on a pretty good foot here. We got 1 and 2 kills on Northwest Widowmaker, and another couple kills, another 3. And they've actually gotten control of the payload, and it looks like they actually might have a very good opportunity at pushing that payload towards the next checkpoint. Now Northwest, all of their team has respawned. They're getting ready to regroup, and now they're pushing out, trying to contest the payload point. They're seeing a lot of deaths on the Marshalltown side. I mean, they tried to defend the payload, but they stopped it just in the nick of time, and round 1 is complete. That's another tally on the Northwest side.
Score 0-0. Switching sides. Initiating match.
All right, now they get to continue from the same progress that they made on the last round. Time to assemble their heroes. This is a time to assemble their team comp, making sure that they get off on the right foot come round start.
Ready for
Oh.
battle.
Facts. All right, now going into round 2, they've continued from the same progress that they made on last round. Now we're seeing, again, this is a very important that they get on the right foot, making sure that their team comps are sturdy and solid when they get into combat. Now 15 seconds. This time is also very important. You know, when you're playing competitive, I mean, the pressure really builds up on you. This 10 seconds, it feels a lot longer than it really should, but it's a really time to recollect, to regroup with your team, to support one another, and really say, you know, guys, this is really doable. You know, and we believe, because the mental part of competitive esports, it's really important. Just like with any other sport, you know, as soon as your mind goes in the gutter, the game goes with it. Now we're seeing combat. Northwest switching sides, trying to push the payload. We're seeing 3 players protect the payload at the same time. And where are the other 2 players? Well, they're supporting the rest of the team from behind. And they're pushing pretty far into Marshalltown's territory. They're saying, hey, I'm all up in your face. What are you going to do about it? Well, it looks like Marshalltown is doing something about it. Just a couple kills, but, you know, as their role on the attacking side, it is important that they're getting aggressive here. You know, a little bit of damage done there, and a pretty substantial amount of progress made on the payload. Northwest has regrouped 3 players, peeking the corner together, using that cover strategically. Not yet pushing for the payload, regrouping, saying, hey guys, you know, this really isn't a good idea if we push without all of our power. Let's make sure that we have all the support we can get before we go in, and they're going to try and contest this middle ground here, saying, hey, I'm all up in your face again, but it ain't going to go as you expect it, right? And I mean, they're really putting up a fight here. Kale Sorgi fighting Envy here. I mean, it's a 1v1, but Envy got the heals. Kale didn't really have any support there. Far into enemy territory. I mean, there was really nothing his team could do. I mean, I'm not going to lie, Marshalltown isn't really doing the same level of performance as it did in past rounds. You know, I think we're really seeing an improvement. I mean, maybe they switched it up. Maybe, you know, their IGL gave them a little pep talk, and they're doing pretty fine now. 5K, 1, 2, 3, into the 4, into the 5. That's 5 kills for Northwest. I mean, they have complete control of the payload. That's full mid-map control. 50 meters and a cool 1 minute and 45 seconds. They have substantial time to get this payload to the point. Marshalltown really has to rush in, contest the ground, and stop it just in the nick of time. I mean, they really only have a couple meters here. They stop the payload. And that's 1, 2, 3 into the 4. That's 4 kills for Northwest. An absolute battle. I mean, Marshalltown put up a good fight. A great enemy, a great opponent, but you know, I mean, they lost this map, but you know, in the next match, I'm sure that they can try and cinch it up and maybe get a couple rounds on them. So now our ending thoughts. We're here in the Northwest Esports room.
We're gonna keep when we can.
And we're just sitting in the team debrief here, just reflecting. I mean, Marshalltown really put up a good fight. You know, they had a lot of resistance there. Northwest, monster of a team. You know, we have some really good players here, and Marshalltown really played valiantly. But you know, congratulations to Northwest. What do you think about this match, Kale? I mean, you played in it. You watched both matches. You were there for both matches. You know, how did Marshalltown compare to our last?
You know, I feel like just seeing the team coercion, I mean, it looks so infinitely better here at Northwest. I mean, it's just like they almost have this pack among them, you know, like
I mean, it's the
wolves.
pack of wolves. It's the
It's
pack
the
of wolves,
wolves,
man.
you
It's the
know.
Northwest Wolves, man.
You know,